Billy Horschel goes back-to-back in the FedEx Cup playoffs this season with a great win at the Tour Championships. Hi guys, I'm Rotary Swing instructor Chris Tyler, and this week I'm going to be focusing in on two of the Tour's young guns themselves, Ricky Fowler and Billy Horschel. I'm going to show you how these guys use their lower body to sequence their downswing for a lot of clubhead speed and a lot of consistency. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, if you're joining us on our YouTube channel, and before I do this analysis, I want to go ahead and include a special bonus video at the end of this on sitting into the left side. It's going to teach you a great drill on how to get properly seated left and to control the speed of the hips through the hitting area. Remember, if you like this video, go ahead and click the like button below. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post those up and I'll help you out as best as I can. Now let's go ahead and get started with this analysis. I think it's pretty safe to say that sequencing a downswing can be one of the most difficult concepts for amateur golfers to really grab a hold of. And this week we've got two of the Tour's elite going to show us how they sequence their downswing with the lower half. And I'm going to outline a process for you amateur golfers out there that are looking to put more power in your golf swing and also learn how to be able to maintain consistency in the hitting area. That's really kind of the name of the game. I know last week we focused in on Billy Horschel's 3 keys to consistency. And this week we're going to talk about how both players really unload the lower half properly. And this is going to kind of tie hands with that squat to square video that Chuck put out last week as well. So let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to get both players up to the top part of their golf swing. Both players have a very different look. You can see that Ricky has his hands much deeper here where they're behind his right shoulder, where Billy's got his hands up above the right shoulder. But we're going to be focusing on what the lower half of the body is doing in the downward move so that you can understand how you're going to use this to, number one, pull power out of the ground, and then in turn make maximum speed at impact. So if you watch here, both players are going to start to sit left. Okay, so Billy Horschel starting to sit left here, really not doing much with the hands and the arms. It's giving you the appearance that he's doing a lot with his hands and arms, but he's really just trying to use the lower body to start to clear out. So you can see his hands are starting to drop as his hips get back to a square position. And a very similar move here with Ricky. You're going to see that he starts to clear that lower half out, gets the hips back to a square position, and now the hands are starting to drop. Now from here, what we're going to be focusing on is because we're starting to sit into that left side, we should start to feel the weight over that lead foot. Okay, so we've got the weight over to the left side. Now we can start to control the speed of the hips through the hitting area. If the weight is hung back, you're going to rely more on your trail side to push the weight through, and you can run into a lot of timing mistakes. So from here, he's got the weight seated left, and he's going to start to drive that left heel into the ground and then use his left obliques to pull that left hip away from the target. All right, so you can see that that weight's left, starting to pull that left hip away from the target, which is helping him maintain posture in the hitting area, not allowing the hips to move forward. And then as the hands are working in front of his right thigh, his hips are coming to almost a complete stalling point. So you can see as he's starting to release this golf club, the hips are not moving at all. So that's a classic way to be able to control the speed of the hips is by getting the weight seated left, driving that left heel into the ground, and then using your left obliques to pull that left hip away from the target. And a very similar move from Billy Horschel as well. He's got his weight seated left. He's going to start to pull that left hip away from the target. Hands are approaching in front of the right thigh. And you're going to see as he starts to release the golf club, there's very little hip rotation here. And both players have a very similar look at impact where they've got the hips open about 40, 45 degrees. Shoulder line is nice and square to where they had it at address. And at this point, they're releasing the golf club. So if you've ever had questions on how to sequence your downswing, we have a great video on the website called Sitting into the Left Side. It's a video that Chuck has done that shows you how to get seated properly left. And once you feel that weight in the left side, there's another good video that's going to give you some really good awareness of what muscle groups you're looking to use between the left obliques and then the left glute muscles in order to control the speed of the hips through the hitting area. And then you can just release the golf club once you've stabilized, and you can build a lot of club head speed and you can maintain a lot of consistency as well. So in kind of a prioritized list for you to understand how to sequence your downswing, the best thing to do is to check out the Sitting into the Left Side video, learn how to get that weight seated over to the left side, then have some awareness of those muscle groups, the glutes and the left obliques, to start to control the speed of the hips so you can stall them properly. And then in turn, you're going to be able to maintain posture. And then the final bit of that prioritized list is making sure that you have the release really kind of fine-tuned. And you'll hear us talk a lot about that on the website, is making sure that you watch 5 minutes to a perfect release all the time so you can release the golf club with a lot of speed and a lot of control. All right, guys, so that's how you're going to sequence your downswing. So get over there, make sure you get seated left to start your downward move. Don't allow the hands and the arms to start the downswing. Let the hands and arms just feel like they're doing not much of anything. Let the lower half really start to clear out of the way. The hands and arms will move back into the hitting area to where you release it, and then you're going to be able to play a lot of good golf, a lot of consistent golf, and be able to blow it past your friends. All right, so let's not make downswing sequencing harder than it really needs to be. Let's make sure that we learn how to use that lower body to effectively get out of the way, stall it, and then release it, and you'll be playing some great golf. I look forward to working more with you guys in the future, and I hope you have a great day.
One of the most common problems that we see for golfers of all levels is losing the tush line. That's talked about so much, and especially on the forums, and people who are trying to understand the golf swing. They can build a lot of good things into their swing, but when it comes to looking at the swing from down the line, they start to stand up and get this early extension into the swing. I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. As a golfer's coming into impact, one of the things that we do is look at the tush line, which is basically a vertical line drawn straight down from a down the line view from the rear. So typically we'll draw that at address. That's not the most important one, but if we draw it at address and we leave it sitting here, you can basically see where a straight line would be drawn down straight a couple inches behind my heel. As I come down into impact, when people lose that tush line, what it looks like is this. They start to stand up, and notice how now my rear has moved in, so I've lost the tush line. The opposite of that would look like if I maintain it, this. So now my tush line is basically where it was at address. That's what we're looking for, because if you don't do that, if you start to create this look, it makes it very common for the club to drop to the inside and get stuck. It makes it really common to hit blocks and pushes and snap hooks, and it's also a little hard on your back and your hip. So apart from those problems and several others, it's very important that you learn to maintain it, but what it shows is that when you're not maintaining it, that you're doing a couple of very fundamental things of the golf swing incorrectly. And so I'm going to give you a drill today that's going to help you develop the correct movement